All right, so Nate Oats sent us a clear message, and we've got ADay stuff to discuss, and we're excited.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. We're so excited you chose to make us your first listen every single day. You guys are the absolute best. Jimmy, Nate Oats sent a pretty clear message in a tweet that was, it wasn't even really that carefully worded. I think some people have tried to say, well, he didn't say exactly this, or I don't know. It felt pretty emphatic to me that Nate Oats will be the head coach at Alabama for the foreseeable future. And boy, I love it. I'm so excited about the direction of this basketball program. I don't even know what to do.
I don't understand any parsing of that statement as some sort of clue that he's not actually closing the door. I don't understand it at all, because I think regardless of how it was worded, the intent is 100% obvious to me, and it verifies what me and you had been saying, publicly, privately, everywhere else. Nate Oats isn't leaving Alabama anytime soon. That's why in the most recent contract negotiation, he agreed to the largest buyout in college basketball. That $18 million buyout it would take for someone to hire Nate away from Alabama is the largest buyout in college basketball. Nate wouldn't have agreed to that if he had any inkling that he wanted to go anywhere else, especially soon. Now, down the road, will he search for other challenges? We can't say that he won't. All we can really do is judge for the right now. And the message is 100% clear to me. He's got no interest in going anywhere else. He's proven at Alabama he can win at the highest levels. He can recruit at the highest levels. He gets good support. I understand that NIL fundraising for basketball specifically is going extremely well right now. He has no reason to leave at all. And, he's got a girl that's enrolled at the University of Alabama and another girl in middle school. And let's just enjoy Nate while we have him. I'm not going to sit here telling you guys it's going to be forever. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I just know what's going to happen now. Nate's not going anywhere. I felt that before the statement. I became over 100% sure after the statement.
And here is the statement, by the way. He says, Bama Nation, I'm fully committed to this team and to this university. We have already accomplished some great things here, and there's nothing I want more than for the University of Alabama to win its first national championship in men's basketball. Despite any rumors to the contrary, rest assured that I will continue that pursuit as your head coach. Roll Tide, Nate Oats. I'm with you.
Pretty clear.
It was funny. I saw some other sites going, well, he could have said blank. I'm like, I don't know what else he can say. And again, you always have to leave some wiggle room for any reason in any job you have.
If he referenced Kentucky, he would have to put out a new statement every time his name popped up for another job.
Exactly. So, look, I think that this was emphatic. I think it was an absolute declaration, and that we're going to have Nate Oats for a while. And the beautiful thing about this, Jimmy, is, man, we're seeing like the Bradshaw kid got in the portal from Kentucky. Is a 7-1 kid. Am I saying Alabama's going to get him? I don't know. The Ballo kid from Arizona in the portal. I know Alabama's rumored to be involved there. Of course, there's the 7-1 kid at Stanford. Is Alabama involved? It's hard to say right now. You can't say, here you go. Here's a better way to put this. In college basketball right now, nothing is certain. What Nate Oats said was as close to anything certain as certain can be in college basketball. We don't even know. What's funny, and what kind of started all this is that Calipari is apparently going to Arkansas, but it hadn't been done yet. In fact, I was listening to national radio this morning. Matt Jones, who's sort of a Kentucky radio legend, he said, look, I don't think he's coming back to Kentucky at this point. I think that bridge may be burned. But I don't know that he's going to Arkansas either. He said, yes, I feel like he's going to Arkansas. I believe he ends up at Arkansas. But it's weird that this didn't finalize.
You know what just occurred to me? What just occurred to me?
What's that?
He's walking away from that big buyout. You know, if Kentucky fired him, they'd owe him $33 million. They're clearly not going to fire him. I wonder if interviewing for this other job, and then Calipari's like, I just spent a lovely 3 days in Arkansas, but I'm headed back to the office now to continue to do my Kentucky job and recruit for Kentucky. And then he goes out in the parking lot and he drags the last national championship trophy around the parking lot behind his car. George Costanza like, I'm just saying, is this some sort of an effort to at least address the fact that, by the way, if y'all fired me, y'all owe me $33 million. Let me get fired on my way out the door because I'm taking the Arkansas job, but it would be nice if I took it with $33 extra million in my pocket. I'm just mindlessly speculating, but that is a lot to walk away from.
Another way to look at this, speak in Seinfeldian terms. What if, because apparently Calipari was supposed to let Kentucky know if he talks to anybody else. He may not have let them know about talking to Arkansas. Now, Kentucky knows about it now, because everybody knows about it. It'd be weird if Kentucky didn't know now.
Maybe Calipari's never talked to Arkansas. Maybe all of the discussion has been between Cal's agent and Arkansas.
True, but I think that, again, and there, I hadn't read the contracts or anything. Right. Even if I had, I wouldn't understand them, so it doesn't matter. But what if Calipari is in breach of that contract? Yeah. And what if he did decide here at the last second, I'm just going to go back to Kentucky. I don't want to be in Arkansas, make less money, and I'd rather go to Kentucky, make them fire me and take my $33 million, and then I can walk my dog in an even bigger stroller. But what if he shows up to the office and the guy's like, I got to let you go. I mean, and he goes, well, I don't even really work here.
I don't even really work here. He's Kramer and Costanza. And by the way, if you're walking the dog and the dog's in a stroller, so the dog's not walking, the dog's riding. Isn't the dog walking? Isn't the dog walking you?
You're pushing the dog.
The dog is walking you.
By the way, I'm going to say this real quick.
Not the dog.
I need to do a mea culpa here, and I think there's no better place to do it than on this podcast. So yesterday I'm driving to work, and at our office, we have several little smaller roads that come off of Highway 280 to get here in a lot of different ways. And so I'm on one of those smaller roads, and there are a few smaller houses there, and there's some stray dogs around. And one of the stray dogs was over to my left, and I look over, and I'm like trying not to hit it. And it's almost like, remember that scene in Jurassic Park where the guy, the hunter's like watching one velociraptor, and then at the last second, another velociraptor pops out where he wasn't looking. He goes, "Clever girl." And then the velociraptor.
How big are these stray dogs?
But then I'm watching this dog, making sure I don't hit it, and another dog runs out in front of me, and I hit it, but I'm not going that fast. And I'm thinking, oh God, I hit the dog.
Even worse.
Well, and it rolled. It did like a Peter roll all the way through the road. And that dog got up and started running. And so I started following it because it was just running down the road some more. And I noticed, okay, it's running fast. It's not bleeding at all. And like I was able to catch up to it for a second. And I could look at it. And it was just looking at me like, hey, no harm, no foul. I can't believe they didn't call that. And and so I get to the office. And
ref in the NCAA tournament wouldn't have called anything there.
So I immediately look at my car, and it's cracked this little plastic thing in my bumper or fender. I don't know. And I'm like, now I'm mad at the dog. At first I felt so bad. And
because
now
he has no insurance.
I was like, I want to go back and find that dog and hit it again. And then I'll tell you,
you're going to pay for this dog. I need $1,100.
This is, he's like, anyway, I had a thought that, so I called the Ford place, and they're like, yeah, okay, for that particular part, it's $500 and $500 labor. I'm like, this dog owes me $1,000. And then I went to eBay Motors, and again, I don't even know the eBay Motors live read today, but I was able to, I think I found the right part. And I can get that part for like $150. And if I can get now just got to find somebody to put it on. I have no idea how to put it on.
Your best live read for eBay Motors yet.
I know. I'm really impressed. And I don't even do their live read today, but I just thought it was kind of cool that you can actually do that. But
I just want to hear I want to hear the dog story on his podcast.
That dog's probably got like a whiplash neck brace, and he's already called
Alexander Shannara.
Yeah.
Who's conflicted out because he knows
Xander Shannara, whatever the dog version of Alexander Shannara is. Okay, I got to do a live read now. We love FanDuel. I know basketball's over, but you got baseball. Look, it's playoff time in NBA too, and the NHL. That's playoff time. I think I've never watched hockey. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Crazy? Waiting to hit a dog? Don't do that. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make an automatic win with your first bet. FanDuel is America's number one sportsbook. Okay, so very quickly, I wanted to, because we want to get into football. I know now that basketball, by the way, don't y'all love my shirt? I mean, this is the only collared Final Four shirt I could find with Alabama on it.
I didn't even know they were mentioned. Under Armour. Oh, it's Under Armour? Really?
Yeah, very ironically. Yeah. But anyway, I like it a lot. And I know I wore it the other day for the podcast, but I only wore it for the podcast the other day. Today, I'm actually wearing it the whole day. So, anywho, so way too early top 25. Sporting News actually has Alabama number 1. ESPN has Alabama number 12. Here's my problem with both of those rankings. How do you know? And I understand we preface it by saying way too early, but we don't know about literally anybody except Aaron Estrada, who can't come back.
And probably, and this isn't an exaggeration, but probably Houston Mallett, Duron Reed, Aiden Sherrill, Nas Cunningham. I feel good they'll be here. There's absolutely not 100% certainty anymore, but I feel really good that the signees and the transfer portal guy, they'll be here. So that's 4. I seriously would not bet more than $20 on any other player you can name on the roster, because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'll name one. I think Sam Walters, I'll be really surprised if he's not back, because I would think we would really like to keep him and develop him and for him to continue to get better. I don't think he would be, widely, sought after in the portal. I mean, he would be, by the way, if Sam went in the portal, he'd have a lot of offers and a lot of suitors. I'm just saying he wouldn't be Mark Sears, in the portal. But I just use that as an example of, okay, I'd probably bet $20 Sam Walters is back. You're not going to bet the Pringles back as often as he's been in trouble with the staff. So it'd be crazy to kind of bet on that. Is Chris Parker happy about the red shirt? He agreed to it, so I don't know why it wouldn't be, but there's rumors there. There's rumors Davin Cosby, doesn't play a lot of minutes. Mo McGee doesn't play a lot of minutes. They could leave because of minutes. Sears and Nelson could go to the NBA. And I don't think there's enough talk about Grant Nelson and Mark Sears maybe not being drafted, but all it takes, one quick rant. Whenever you talk about Mark Sears and Grant Nelson, let's lump them together, and you talk about their NBA draft prospects, people say, they're not in mocks. The NBA doesn't like them. Okay, it takes one team. It just takes one. It doesn't take a consensus of all the 30 teams to say, hey, give me your opinion. There could be an NBA team that's watched Mark Sears all year that says he'd probably be on our bench, maybe even at the end of our bench, but we want that guy on our bench. We love that guy. We love what this guy brings. And by the way, they don't have to be drafted to make a good decision to go. They could go to the NBA Combine, and all it takes is a conversation between Mark's agent and Grant's agent and a front office that says, hey, just come out for the draft. I promise you, you'll either be drafted or we will offer you a 2-way contract. And for those that don't know what a 2-way contract is, it means you play mostly in the G League, partly with the NBA team. There's only a certain amount of games you can play with the NBA team, But if you fulfill your two-way contract and you're on the team and G League for 2 years, it pays almost $600,000 a year. So you're talking about over $1 million for just being what amounts to on the G League team 3/4 of the time. So it's, by the way, each NBA team is limited to two-way contracts. You can only have two. It's very possible that Mark Sears and Grant Nelson would be at that level. And hey, if you can play, you can be partly in the NBA and make $1 million. Be sort of crazy not to do it, in my opinion. But point being,
it depends on what his NIL deal would be. But
correct. And I think that's where Mark Sears and Grant Nelson have a tough decision to make, because their NIL money would likely be very good, especially Mark's, because I think Mark would be a first-team preseason All-American and get a lot of deals outside of Alabama, if that makes sense. He's probably in the, hey, Gillette's, Gillette's. I meant to say Gillette's, but Gillette's too, the bar in Tuscaloosa. Because I go to Gillette's to drink. I don't go to Gillette's, so that's why I always say Gillette's. But anyway, my point being, national companies, national brands might be interested in endorsing Mark, not just Alabama's, Alabama NIL deals.
I mean, the other thing, honestly, Mark and his mama could get some NIL deals. Now, his mama wouldn't have to be NIL. It would be just a regular deal. But it wouldn't shock me, like, if somebody, if he came back, if somebody had the wherewithal to, like, include them in, like, can you imagine them, like, in a laundry detergent commercial together or something? Wouldn't that be, like, Mark's just doing the laundry, and when he pulls it out of the dryer and, like, shakes it and folds it neatly, and his mom's going, yeah, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be good. She's famous to Alabama. What I mean by that is, I don't know all the players' parents, of course. And I follow the program as closely as anybody, but I think anybody listening to this show, I bet if you saw Mark Sears' mother in public, you'd go, that's Mark Sears' mom.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Means 100%. Pretty famous.
So, but again, I go back to, we don't even know who Arkansas and Kentucky's coaches are yet. So I feel like, how do you, I get it. We're all looking for content. I mean, we've been there. I mean, in the summer, sometimes you hurt for content. And so a way too early top 25 is cool, but we literally have no idea who's coming back.
It's too dumb. I love stuff like that, because I'll eat it up. I love
That's
it.
the ironic thing is I love it.
I love it, but it's dumb. I mean, I'm literally saying I'm dumb for read. Would I read it? Yeah.
I'm dumber having read your material. Please send me more.
Exactly. But how can you rank Alabama when you don't know who's going to be playing for Alabama? I don't. If me and you don't know, how do they know?
But now I talked to Brian Passink the other day after the game, and we were discussing just next year and how exciting it all is, and in that moment we were both a little not nervous, but like at least keeping an eye on the Kentucky job just in case. But I talked about next year, and first of all, another thing you don't know before you can rank him, you don't know what anybody's schedules are. I mean, I know Alabama's going to play Arizona and Birmingham in basketball.
Right.
I believe Alabama's going to play Creighton and Tuscaloosa, but this could be one of those weird things where we don't play them next year. We play them in 2 years or in Tuscaloosa or whatever. Who knows? Right. Neither one of us is sure if we're going to do a Purdue return game somewhere odd.
Probably not, since that was a neutral.
Well, it wasn't so much neutral as it was Zach Edey's hometown. Now, the caveat being that Charles Bediako, also from Canada, I think that was a bit of the allure. And then, of course, Charles Bediako doesn't come back.
Maybe they should play next year in the Villages.
That would
Sam
be
Walter's
so cool.
hometown. Hey, Purdue, you owe us one.
Yeah,
we're gonna play in an outdoor court in the Villages.
Oh,
so
God,
Sam's people can watch.
So, there's we don't know. And Alabama could be in that Las Vegas tournament that everybody's talking about with the players getting the lion's share of the money that you win from the tournament, and the ultimate winner of the tournament gets an extra $1 million to disperse however they want to.
What a recruiting tool! What a recruiting tool when you're recruiting the portal.
Oh, no doubt.
We're playing in that NIL thing where you're just being on the team, you make X amount of money just for playing in that tournament. We're in it. That's
I want that to be
massive
announced soon
recruiting.
because I'm going to that. I promise you I will be at that thing. I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, Orthodox Easter, Ramadan. I'm going to that thing. I don't care when it is. So,
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
I would just guess it's around Thanksgiving, like when all those other tournaments are.
And if it is
Generally.
around Thanksgiving, that's perfect because I hate Thanksgiving food. So
I know you don't like turkey.
Hate turkey.
Yeah, this is one of the most famous and one of the most well-known things on the show. You despise turkey, which I think is funny. It's funny to me because it's turkey's so like it's strange to be so anti-turkey. I get not being pro-turkey, but when I go to a Subway or something, Subway sandwich or something, I'm usually getting the turkey.
By the way, that's not. I don't even think it's all turkey. I found out the other day that
I doubt it. I don't know.
I can't even. I better not say it because Subway made our new sponsor, Subway. But anyway, I'll leave that.
Well, I hope so. I eat Subway all the time.
Let's talk some ADay when we come back. All right. So in 4 or 5 days, I don't want to do the math. Alabama will have ADay. It'll be on 3:00, and it's a big weekend. I mean, Alabama's got number one Arkansas in baseball. They've got is it Texas A&M in softball? I think it is.
Texas A&M in softball. Yeah, they're very good too.
And there should be a lot of visitors in for ADay, a lot of big time visitors. So,
oh my gosh, crazy,
very exciting stuff.
What a list. We'll go over the BOL list, before Saturday, or some of the players on the BOL list. They Joseph Hastings and Andrew Bone and Tim Watts put that together. It's a group effort. Big. I mean, it's an insane list of some of the best prospects in the South. So yeah, recruiting the baseball and softball in and of itself. I mean, Arkansas might be the best team in all of college baseball. Texas A&M ranked ahead of Alabama. Not many teams are in softball.
Yeah. So what are you most thinking about in terms of the excitement for this ADay game right now?
Super excited. To me, it always starts with quarterback. And to me, that's interesting about the game is assuming it's the same format. And we're told so far that it is going to follow the Saban format for ADay, which basically means when the teams are on the field, it'll be the first team offense against the first team defense and the second team offense against the second team defense. That's what Saban has always done in previous ADays to make the game as competitive as possible. But what's interesting to me, Luke, is the first team offensive line now playing in front of Milroe is really makeshift. And they're going up against our first team defense, which has the only injury I'm aware of on the first team defense is Jaheim Otis, who hasn't been out there the entirety of the spring. And that's the deepest position maybe on the football team. So if the first team offensive line is makeshift playing against the first team defense, it's got to make you think that there won't be a lot of offense. Worse, though, Luke, is Ty Simpson's situation with the twos. If the first team offensive line is makeshift, then how do you describe the second team offensive line? It will be all freshmen.
Triage.
It will. The quarterback may need it, even with wearing a black jersey. I think here off the top of my head, the second team offensive line would be something like Naquil Bertrand and Miles McVay at tackle, Casey Poe and Olas Alanen at guard, and Will Sanders at center.
Wow. That's a lot.
No, I'm sorry. Joe Ionata would be at center.
That's Joe Ionata. A lot of you.
Still. That's straight. 2 true freshmen, 3 redshirt freshmen. That's the second team offensive line that would be protecting Ty Simpson. But when you're like, yeah, but they're going up against a number 2 defense. Well, here's some names probably on the second team defense. LT Overton, Damon Payne, James Smith, Jeremiah Alexander, Quay Rousseau, Keanu Coote. He might be with the ones. He might be with probably the ones. But I'm just saying the second team defense still has some dudes in the front 7. There's some guys who have played.
Yeah, they've played. I would say, when you say them like that and you put them together like that, the thing that scares me isn't necessarily what I know about them. It's what I think about them from their recruiting
from
reputation.
recruiting. That's true. Like when I say like a Quay Russaw, but when you consider like, okay, let's say Quay Russaw is the
That's
second
true
team.
about Keanu Coote, by the way. By the way, I can't wait for people to screw up Keanu Coote's name all year long.
No, they're going to say Coat. And by the way, and I'm not going to, I mean, I said Coat for 2 or 3 years, but hey, for people that don't know this, I've given this hint before, or this advice before. Pretty interesting. It's what people in the media do and everybody. If you go to the University of Alabama's official roster on rolltide.com and pull up the football roster and scroll down the names, when you see a name, it'll have this thing that literally looks like an ear next to it. If you click on the ear, you will hear out loud a correct pronunciation of that player's name.
Does the player? That would be so cool if the player said
did it.
Like, my name is Keanu Coote.
That would be great. No, it's some random radio guy. It's either a radio guy or artificial. It's an AI guy, but he's a very good pronouncer. But for a lot of people wouldn't know that. But yeah, you can go to rolltide.com, and this is common throughout college football, by the way. Our basketball has it as well. I mean, yeah, it's pretty common throughout media that service is out there. It's primarily for the media, so we don't butcher names. And trust me, I butchered it for 3 years before. I'm like, I should go to the roster and check out.
It was probably his idea.
He's like, y'all need to include me on the ear thing with the roster because people keep saying Coat.
All right, buddy.
By the way, the staff loves it. We were talking about the noose. There's we'll do the whole next show on this. There are always, whenever you switch from the old staff to the new staff, new eyes, new opinions, and new opinions that differ from the last staff. Some of it is just development. Players just get better. But other times it's like they just have a different opinion than the last staff, and Keanu Coote's one of them. The new staff is nuts about that guy. They think he's great. They also like James Brockermeyer a lot, who did not play with the ones under Nick.
All right, buddy. That's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back tomorrow with more, and it's all going to be football tomorrow, y'all, unless something big happens. And until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.